What up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mug. I'm doing this brand new podcast style audio that I hope will be of interest to my regular listeners, and I hope will also find a new audience with people who've never seen my videos before. I'm Warboss Tay. I do videos on YouTube doing painting tutorials and month-long challenges, and just trying to motivate people and get people interested in painting, skill building, and getting paint on their models, because like many of you out there, I've got shelves and shelves and bins full of sprues that need some tender love and care, and this is the time to do it. This is the year to do it. There's no better time than now to be painting miniatures. So I hope to be your guide as you're working on your own projects. If you've got this playing in the car or you're going on your daily hike, whatever you're doing, bike ride, housework, painting at the table, I hope I can bring you some entertainment and just a relaxing voice to keep you company as you do whatever you're doing on your day. As you can tell, I am working with a brand new microphone, and I think it sounds pretty awesome. I might continue using it for any future podcasts or even maybe videos if I can get it all set up. It's a little bit of a hassle and a setup process, but we'll just see how it sounds. I think it sounds terrific. I'm listening to it on some very cheap Best Buy earphones, but it sounds pretty good. I feel like a radio personality. So let's just get going. We'll get into it. And the biggest news I want to share with is that it is summertime. We are smack dab in the middle of June, and we are doing our summer painting challenge for Warboss Tay Studios for worldwide, the entire world. Jump in on this summer painting challenge. If you've got a project that you're working on, now is the time to paint it. If you want to jump into our Discord, we've got tons and tons of channels where we've got very motivated, dedicated, inspirational projects being posted and discussed. So you can jump in, you can just lurk and get some motivation, or you can actually participate and just find anything. It doesn't have to be a big project. If you're just working on a single miniature, or you're working on a brand new army that just got released that you picked up, or if you're going to be working on that new Leviathan box for Warhammer 10th edition, then jump in on the project. It's going from now till the end of August. And the goal is to find 31 days between now and the end of August to paint up some miniatures. It doesn't have to be at the beginning of the month. It can be spaced out and spread out. Just find 31 days where you could get your butt in the chair and paint some miniatures. And that's actually the core of today's show. Our first episode in this Monday motivational series is that we want to get our butts in the painting chairs. And for some of us, that is a little difficult to do when the motivation for painting something kind of wears off. The shine and that new model feeling fades away. We realize maybe painting or collecting this army isn't as fun as we had anticipated it would be, or once the luster has worn off and we realize it's a little bit more of a slog. Maybe there are details and bits on these models that we didn't anticipate taking so much time or being as fiddly. So I want to talk to you about some things that motivate me to get my butt in the chair and just to work on my models when maybe I don't feel like it, when I start to get frustrated with the models that I'm painting, and when my mind starts to wander. So the first thing I want to do is identify that we all have what we call resistances. And these are the roadblocks, right? These are the obstacles that pop up that keep us from accomplishing our painting goals. And they're the obstacles I want to help you navigate and surpass and surmount so that I can help you achieve your goals, because my purpose as a content creator, as an artist, as somebody in this community that hopefully other people can look up to and try to follow in my footsteps, my goal is to help you to get from your present situation to your desired situation. And hopefully your desired situation is all of your models painted, right? That's what every one of us gamers and hobbyists want. We want to buy the models that come out that look awesome. We want to take them home and build them up and paint them up and get them on the table, or just paint them up so that we can have fully painted models. Nobody wants just bins and bins of sprues, and nobody wants shelves and shelves of unpainted gray. So the first thing we do is we identify what are our resistances. Now, resistance can come in many forms. As I used to call it, Gabubu the Magnanimous is the giant eldritch god that comes in and bars us from achieving our goals. It keeps us from doing what we want. It entices us and it tempts us away from the hobby by showing us, oh, look, there's a new video game that came out. There's this new series on Netflix. Or why don't you watch and binge watch your favorite shows on HBO? And it keeps us away from the hobby. Or maybe it just says, you know what, it's too cold or it's too hot. And why would you want to be stuck inside spending hours at your painting table when you could be outside doing something else, spending time with your family or doing 100 other different things to take your time away from it? And you know what? Maybe these resistances are valid. Maybe you did have a long day at work and your body is really sore and you're really exhausted, and having to force yourself to sit at a table is just going to make your eyes roll back in your head, and you're just not going to have a good time. Or maybe you do have like housework that needs to be done. Maybe the kitchen sink is leaking, or maybe your wife needs help with taking care of the baby, and saying, no, I've got to do this hobby stuff is just going to create an uncomfortable situation and lots of tension. So you have to identify which of your resistances are authentic and genuine and should be handled, and which of your resistances are self-imposed. Like, which resistances are you able to have an answer for? Now, Gabubu the Magnanimous doesn't want you to paint. He wants you to have unpainted miniatures. He wants you to spend your money on boxes you're never going to open, spend your money on miniatures you're going to assemble but never paint, or just spend your money on collecting bins and bins full of miniatures that you're never going to open. That's what he wants. And so the way we defeat Gabubu, because he can never truly be defeated, we're always going to have life gnawing at our heels. We're always going to have real life responsibilities and other things that are going to require our attention. So the way we keep Gabubu at bay is by identifying our resistances, addressing them, and then making them keeping them as far away as possible. Like, you're never going to get rid of your resistances. There's always going to be the temptation of the new video game or the new television show, or the resistances of things that you have to do around the house, your chores to keep your household running. Or if you're just a student in college, you're always going to have schoolwork and sleep, and you're just always going to have things that you need to do other than the hobby that are going to keep you from the hobby. So when you identify the resistances that you have and you can separate them into, okay, what are authentic, genuine resistances that I do need to take care of, and what are resistances that I can overcome, that I can surmount, that I can push back to the boundaries and the borders of my little hobby space so that they are not going to be invading my time and my attention. Well, some of the resistances are immediately connected to your painting time. And they can include, like I said, the heat or the cold, making it uncomfortable. Maybe you have a chair that is very bad on your back. Maybe you're hunched over your table. Maybe the lights you have are not good. Maybe the brushes you have are old. And maybe the paints you have are all dried out because you buy Citadel paints. So how do we address these? Well, if you are finding yourself in an uncomfortable painting position, maybe you need to move yourself out of there. Maybe if your garage is too hot and you can't ventilate it, you can't put in enough fans to keep you cool, maybe you need to find a temporary painting station with some lights and maybe a portable paint station that you can take somewhere in your house that has adequate lighting, where you can find yourself in like the little corner of a kitchen table or somewhere where you're not going to be getting in the way of everybody else. And so that will take care of the temperature situation. If you need new tools, then it's a simple matter of taking care of the tools that you have, cleaning your brushes so that the bristles don't separate. And if you need to, going out and getting new tools. Like, don't be so stubborn to use the brushes that you have and just say, it's fine, I'll deal with it, I'll work with it. And then you're trying to paint something delicate or intricate and you realize that the paint is not going where you want it to. So always have the right tools for the job that you're using. If your paint is separating or if it's drying out, don't just say, it's fine, I'm going to just use what I have and deal with it. Make sure you have the paints that you need. And that will keep you from getting frustrated. Like, the point of all of this is to keep you from getting so frustrated that you throw up your hands and you say, this isn't worth it. This is stupid. I'm wasting my time. Because it is a waste of time. If you're not using the correct tools for the job, if you're not keeping yourself comfortable and out of pain, like, you don't want to be hunched over your hobby table to the point where your shoulders and your neck and your back are going to be killing you for the rest of the night. You want to make sure you're in a comfortable chair, you're able to be relaxed, and the temperature is okay. You have any beverage, like a water is the most healthiest, but if you drink coffee or energy drinks or whatever is going to keep you going, you've all got it next to you, so you're not going to fall into the resistance trap of saying, okay, I've worked for 10 minutes, I'm really thirsty, I got to get up and get something to drink, because that resistance is going to keep you from getting back in your hobby chair. So you find the things that are going to get in your way and you just eliminate them before you start. My father-in-law has been teaching me how to cook. He was a cook in the Navy, and he worked on a nuclear submarine, and he spent a lot of time at different like mess halls and running different mess halls and stuff. And he said one of the things he learned as a cook, because he has to cook all these meals for like a bunch of servicemen, is that he learned this thing called mise en place, or everything in front of you. So even if you know you need to cook with salt, pepper, cinnamon, ground garlic or whatever, and you know it's in the shelf or it's in the cupboard, you know where it is, don't just know where something is. Take the things out, have them on the counter next to you, so all you have to do is reach over and grab it. You don't have to go digging through cupboards when the egg is already frying, looking for the garlic powder. The same thing has to do with the hobby space. You have everything you need, mise en place, all your ingredients around you in place, everything you need within reach. Your paints that you're going to use, your paint brushes, basing materials, your correct lighting, everything you need, so that you're not going to be finding that resistance that, oh, I can't find this paint, I can't find this thing that I need, so I'm going to just stop for now. This is a good place to stop. Never let yourself fall into the trap that if you can't find something, that's the end of it. You set yourself up for success before you even start painting, and that's going to motivate you to keep going. Like, if I'm working on a miniature and I feel like, okay, you know what, maybe after this coat, I'm good. But then I see that, oh, if I just add this little highlight, or if I just add this shade, that would make it even better. And I look around and I have those paints right next to me. Boom, I just say, okay, I can spend another minute then. I can apply this next coat. I can do this next thing. I can color the gemstones. I can do the eyes or add the highlights to the hair. If the paints are right there within reach, there's nothing that is going to stop me from saying, okay, I'm on a roll. I can do it. I don't have to stop. Those resistances are taken away and you're able to keep churning forward and keep knocking them out. So take away the resistances that are going to keep you from moving forward. So the only resistances you have are those that are genuine and authentic and actually do require your attention. Then if you're able to actually work around those, you're set for success. You're set. There's a reason why sometimes I set my alarm early so that I can wake up and paint before I have to get ready to go to work, because at night I don't have time to do it. Or in the middle of the day, if I try to carve out an hour, all of a sudden the baby wakes up early from his nap and my painting session is ground to a halt. If it's at night, then the same thing. The baby wakes up and I have to shut everything down, because now my wife is all frantic because she can't find me because I'm in the garage painting, and she's like looking for me and can't find me anywhere. So we find the little pockets of time that are going to work best for us. And for everybody, it's different. You know, if you're a student or if you are are single with no kids, like your time to work is going to be different depending on what your other responsibilities in life are. You find what works for you, you find your window of time, and then you say, okay, this is going to be my time to paint. If you know every day that your time to paint, your window is before work, 1 hour before work in the morning, between the hours of like 6 and 7 or 5 and 6, whatever. It's like the same with going to a gym and working out. If you know when your window of time is to put in the work and you miss that window for whatever reason, maybe your resistance is, I had a long night, I need that extra hour of sleep. That's fine. You know, you need to take care of yourself, you need to take care of your health, but you know that you missed that window. That was your time to paint. And for whatever reason, if whether it's genuine and authentic or not, if you miss that time to sit down at the table and work on your miniatures, then you're always going to know that that was your time. You can make it up if you try to paint at a different time in the day, but that was your window. That was your time to go. So give yourself that little push. Give yourself that little bit of extra incentive and say, I've got my resistances at bay. All of the resistances I think I can address, I've handled them. So now I'm looking for my window of time to get the work done, to sit in the painting chair and paint some miniatures. And if you miss that window, then you'll know that that was your time and you willingly gave it up for whatever reason. You don't have to feel guilty. Like I said, if it's an authentic, genuine thing that happened, like in my case, I keep thinking of my family because they're the most important thing to me right now. If I have my window of time early in the morning, but the house is a mess because none of the baby's toys are put away or the baby's breakfast has to be made, then I will willingly give up that section of time, that little window to paint, because I want to handle everything so that there is peace in my house. Because I can't paint if I know that it's going to be just a disaster area when my wife and my baby are in the space. So you handle your business, right? You take care of what you need to take care of. You get all of your materials in place. And the way I also look forward to it is I know what I'm going to paint that day. Like I set aside, I have a roadmap. It's like that old saying, it's good to know where your destination is, but you have to have a roadmap to get there. Like if I want to go to Disneyland, I can't just say, okay, I'm going to go to Disneyland. I know it's in Anaheim. I know it's south of me. So I'm just going to get in the car and I'm just going to drive until I see the signs on the freeway for Disneyland. I'm just going to head south. You have to know where you're going. You have to have a GPS. So if I know I'm going to sit at the painting table and one day I'm going to work on my Heroes of Hobbyton miniatures, and the next day I'm going to work on my Cadians, and then the day after that I'm going to work on some vampires, I'm not going to mix up those painting sessions. Like I used to be able to do that when I was a kid or when I was a lot younger painting. I would just flit from one thing through another and I have no problem doing that. But my brain now is structured in a way as I've gotten older where I know I have to paint a certain model. So I'm only going to get those paints out. I'm only going to set those models up before me. All of the other models in my painting to-do list are going to be put away where I can pull them out later and use them and work on them on another day. If I know I'm working on vampires, I know it's a lot of red armor, black armor, a lot of pale skin, alabaster flesh. I'm going to have those paints, that Rakarth flesh. I'm going to have the Mephiston reds and the Abaddon black paints nearby. And I'm not going to have Castellan green or Mycadian green colors. I'm not going to have the the bright colors that I'm using for my Heroes of Hobbyton miniatures. So by getting rid of the excess paints, you're getting rid of excess clutter. You're giving your mind a more organized and structured view of your paint station. So you have what you need and only what you need in front of you. Minimalize your clutter on your desk. I know that's easier said than done. Like a lot of our desks look like absolute disaster zones, right? But if you can take an extra couple of minutes before you sit down to paint, like throughout the day, go by your painting area and don't sit down, don't paint. Just look at what you can clean up. Is there some extra sprues or some clippings that you could sweep into the trash? Are there empty boxes that don't need to be sitting on your table? Get rid of the things on your table that are cluttering them. And by doing that, you're going to have a cleaner, minimalized space with everything that you need close at hand. And hopefully you have a comfortable chair. You have a good light source so that you're not going to strain your eyes. You're not going to be hunched over and straining your back and your neck and your shoulders. So that when you're sitting down, you're going to have a physically comfortable space. You're going to have all of your materials nearby. And Gabubu the Magnanimous can't get in and ruin your space and ruin your painting time, because you are like wired to go like a machine. You have everything at hand, mise en place, and Gabubu can't do nothing about it. Minimalize the resistances that you can take care of so that you can maximize your time at the table. All right, guys, this was my Monday morning motivation, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you were able to get something out of it. Even if you're just sitting down and painting or working, or if you've got me playing in the background, thank you for hanging out and playing this. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments, what did you think about it? And if this is a good format going forward, if you'd like me to do more audio-only podcast style videos, then I'm happy to do it. And I hope you're doing well out there. The purpose, like I said in the beginning, my goal as a content creator isn't just to entertain and give you tutorials, but it's to really help you build your skills as a painter, as an artist, as even just somebody, as a gamer who wants to have painted miniatures. Like, if you don't consider yourself an artist, you just want to get painted miniatures on the table as quickly as possible, then I hope that my videos and my content help you achieve that goal. I'm here to help you get from your present situation as a painter, as a hobbyist, to the one that you desire to be at, which I hope, like myself, is just a person with lots of painted miniatures and no piles and bins of gray sprues and unpainted miniatures. Hey, thanks for listening. I was going to say watching. Thanks for listening, you guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And head over to the Discord if you're not there already. If you do enjoy my video and my content and you'd like to support me, the best way to do that is to subscribe. Click that notification bell so that you can be alerted anytime I get new videos up. The best way to support YouTube creators that you enjoy is to just enjoy their content. Watch their videos all the way to the end. YouTube's algorithm is doing some crazy stuff, and it's only promoting videos that people are watching. And so if you can do that for me, then I greatly appreciate it. If you want to help me out in a more monetary sense, there's my Patreon, which you can join and take part in the Heroes of Hobbyton minigame. If you want to just help me out by joining the Discord and taking part in the community over there. If anything happens to me on YouTube, I'll always have my Discord. You can follow me on Twitter and everything else. I've got links in my video description to the ebooks that I write, as well as the Redbubble store that I design for. And I'm just trying to make it work, as a content creator. I would love to be able to leave my full-time job that I am just breaking my back doing, and know that I'm able to survive as an artist, as a content creator, as a teacher and a mentor. This is what I want to do full time. I want to do what I love. And you guys listening to these podcast videos or watching my content, that helps me get there. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you have a great Monday, start of the week. Let's have a great week, guys and gals out there, and I will see you in the next video. Laters.